In this section, I want to talk to you about a couple variables that help determine is the club swinging down into the ground or up away from the ground. With impact, using the impact snap, we are achieving the same basic wrist angle every single time, whether we're hitting a driver or a wedge. Now obviously the wedge would be swinging downward toward the ground, while the driver would be swinging level or even upward away from the ground. The couple factors that would go into that would be, as I approach the club with my wedge, ball position more in the center. I'm going to keep my axis pretty much in line with the ball. As I start to move forward, the lead shoulder is going to be a little bit lower as my arms start to release. This is going to get that club swinging downward a little more. Again, I'm going to take that backswing. My axis is staying in line with the stick. The lead shoulder is going to stay a hair lower as the arms start to release from the top. As the pelvis keeps turning, that will eliminate any thought of just plugging a straight ditch into the ground. One of the drills I do have my students do is, once we feel the resistance of the ground, can I now turn my pelvis and my rib cage to start shallowing that out and moving the divot more forward. So I've got the same wrist angles, but I'm controlling the rate that my arms drop to the rate that my axis is turning. If I don't turn it at all, I'll plug it into the ground back here. As I start to sequence the pelvis turning faster and faster, two things start to happen. That starts moving the divot more forward, and it starts taking the club from a downward approach, as we'll see with the driver, to an upward or level approach. So as I grab the driver, one of the reasons we like the ball position so far forward, opposite the left instep, and one of the reasons we might start with a slight increase in the tilt of the spine to the side, because I don't want this club coming down into the ground. You can see that the lead shoulder is already starting to raise as the pelvis is starting to turn upward. This puts me in a position where I'm now able to swing up on something and maintain this geometry. Really powerful to create the geometry, but more important is that you understand how to control the club going down into the ground or upward away from the ground. A couple simple variables of ball position and location of the shoulder. Is it staying lower longer? That's going to help the club to go down. Or is the pelvis turning and am I tilting to the side a little bit quicker? That's going to help the club move away from the ground. That's an important thing, especially if we want to get consistent both with the driver and then consistent with compressing irons. So understanding the location of the lead shoulder on the downswing can help the club get steeper, or if I get the pelvis turning and the lead shoulder raising because my spine and ribs are getting turned up, that will help to pull the club away from the ground. This is one of those things I want you to review over and over again so that you can understand the things that drive the club down into the ground or the things that pull the club away from the ground. Really important if you want to compress an iron and compress a driver.